Yeah. You see that? The emotions coming out of me immediately like an angry dog. I'm snapping at you. Today I'm going to show you two different sides of me, Jekyll and Hyde. We've got two important topics that I really want to discuss. The first one is extremely positive and something I'm very passionate about and also would like your help with. And the second is extremely negative, something I'm very passionate about and nobody can help me with because the old US government decided to take me over their knee and spank my keister when I did nothing wrong. Now, before you start speculating, it has nothing to do with taxes. Uncle Sam ain't blasted my butt for that. It's something very different, and I'm blowing the lid off of this corruption here. It's gone on for far too long. And the NSA, I know you're watching, probably sweating right now. I know they got their ears listening to this. Well, you can't stop me now because I'm going to dive into it. But not quite yet. I want to quickly start with the positive thing that I'd like to discuss. A couple weeks ago, I started doing giveaways on stream, just giving viewers money. I started on Christmas because I thought it'd be kind of nice for anyone that didn't have a good Christmas to tell me what they wanted and didn't get, and I'd just pay for it for them. And I did it again last week for anyone that just needed money for something. And I've just been trying to brainstorm ways to make that a more fun stream experience. Like, I really enjoy doing it and I want to do more of it. I just want to make sure that it's a fun thing to watch as well. Right now, the current way that I'm doing it is I've had a friend of mine named JMac make a Google form, so during the stream it's just pinned to the top of the chat and whoever wants to enter into it just submits there. They tell me the amount and what it's going to be used for and whatever message they want to send, and then the chat will just shout out a bunch of random numbers. Looks like some kind of hacking sequence out of the Matrix when we do these, but I'll just randomly choose one of those numbers that chat shouts out. I'll go to that form, read out the message, and then send the person the money. And then I do that for a couple hours, give away a couple $1,000s to a bunch of different people. And it's really, it makes me happy to do that because it just feels nice to be able to give back to a community that's been so supportive of my shit for so long. I'm just trying to think of ways of making this a more fun viewer experience on stream. Because right now it's mainly sitting silently or maybe shooting the shit with chat a little bit and then going to that forum and reading it out and then sending it. There's not a whole lot of activity going on the stream itself, and I just feel like there's got to be a way of doing this in a really exciting way. And I just haven't been able to come up with the right solution in my noodle right now. The main thing is I don't want it to be some kind of competition where people have to compete for that. Maybe that can be something different down the line, but for this, I'd rather it be something that everyone, of course, can participate in, and I just haven't been able to figure out exactly what that could look like at its best. So if anyone has any ideas, just comment them down below, and I'll definitely take a look there. But anyway, let's move on to the extremely negative topic that I really want to rant about because I've been fuming on it for days. I briefly touched on it on stream, but the more I marinate on it and the more I learn about this, the more I get upset. So I want to dive in even deeper. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know this. Moist Esports is one of the best Apex Legends teams in the world, and our squad comes from Australia. It's where they've been playing out of. But this split, we wanted to bring them to the United States of America, the land of the free, home of the brave, the place where the cheeseburger was invented and communism was prevented. Amen, brother. This is where Jesus Christ was born, and this is where Moist Esports is going to give birth to the biggest goddamn W the world's ever seen when it comes to Apex Legends. So, we began the visa process to get them over, and we submitted all of the necessary paperwork. We had all of our attorneys working through everything. We even collaborated with all of the other big organizations that have done similar things, and we're even doing similar things this split, and it was all smooth sailing. No hiccups, no bumps in the road. We started to put all our plans in motion. We had a place picked out for them here in Tampa. Also, we have our warehouse where they'd be playing out of. It all looked great. And then we got a request from the agent in the US government here that was handling our case, saying that he needed a little more information. And that's a little tedious because we submitted all the necessary paperwork and all the documents and everything that all the other orgs submitted and did not get a request for further information, but for some reason we were picked out for it, so it is what it is. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. We went through the tedious process of providing even more insight to the things that they were requesting, and we put all that in and had to wait again. Now keep in mind, this is not a quick process by any means. The US government ain't exactly known for its speed. This shit isn't exactly kicking in the afterburners or anything. There's no NOS boosters when it comes to this process. So this is over the course of weeks. And that's crucial time because our team needs to get here so they can start practicing together in the American soil on our ping for this split, so that way they can be prepared for when the season starts in a couple weeks. So all of this long waiting period of them not being allowed here also prevented them from being able to practice here, which is, of course, detrimental. So it was stressful and a headache, but we got everything in. And then we got a message back from our agent, who, of course, is representing who is taking on our case and representing us and giving us either the thumbs up or thumbs down on whether or not our Australian professional gamers can come to this country to play professionally. And the answer was no, they cannot. So, huge round of applause for that guy. He just prevented 3 gamers from coming to this country and wreaking havoc. I don't know what else we could have possibly provided. We did everything every other org did and more, and still got declined. So I don't know what else we could have done. Maybe we needed to get like some kind of testimonial from each of our players' ex-girlfriends to confirm that they're not a terrorist or something. I have no fucking clue. We were left in the dark, but the answer was no, which means we then had to start scrambling and get our Australians to Canada instead, so that way they could still play in this region, because obviously if they stayed in Australia, the ping differential is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a huge setback for them to be playing in the NA region while being in Australia. So obviously having them in Canada still puts them in the NA region, and it was our only option left at this point since the US immigration agent decided to spit in our face, and led to a lot of panic. But we eventually got them to Canada, where it was a lot smoother and more seamless. And then we eventually found out the reason for being rejected. And when I tell you that it is one of the most head-scratching explanations, I'm not exaggerating. It is so bafflingly, like, I can't even say frustrating, actually, because it's just laughable. It's comical that people like this are working in the positions they are, because it's very clear that the agent that had our case has no fucking clue what professional video games even means, or what video games even are, for that matter, is the impression that I got from all of this. I think what happened is he might have gone to Waltzy's Twitter and saw Waltzy throwing up 400 pounds with ease and just got afraid of him, thinking that he might be a national threat for being too strong. Like, that'd make more sense than what he gave us. I can't go into the finer details of it, obviously, because that might be a violation, but I'm going to give you a couple of the broad strokes. The one that had me actually giggle when Matt told me is that our agent didn't believe us when we said we were one of the top teams in the world. We submitted the official, rankings of everything and where we place in all of the majors as well as the World Championship and everything, and by every single metric, we are a top 15 team at least. By a lot of other calculations, we'd also be in the top 10. But basically, we just submitted that we are just one of the top teams and then gave all of the rankings and everything, and he didn't believe us. He thought we were lying, fundamentally. Something that he could easily confirm with a single Google search of just Moist Esports Apex and then look at our results and then just look at where we rank amongst all of the other teams. He could have easily verified this, but instead just didn't want to. Instead just said, nope, you're telling a fib, basically. So he fought us on that. Something that he himself could do with actually as little as 5 seconds on the keyboard. It's so fucking unbelievable that guy has that job and won't even do the bare minimum of just confirming something that he might be a little skeptical on, and would instead just say, nah, it's probably a lie. Craziness. Actually, lunacy. But what's even more insultingly ridiculous is one of the other big things that they slapped us for. In our initial filings, they stated that they didn't like one of our clauses in our player contracts. And that clause was that we let all of our players keep 100% of their earnings, through streaming and also through, winning prizes. I believe they were both lumped together, but I think they were held up on streaming in particular. At Moist Esports, we don't touch anything our players make through streaming or whatever they win in the games they compete in. We let them keep 100% of it. The old US immigration agent did not like that and took an issue with it, maybe with the way it was worded. So when we resubmitted, when they asked for more information, we switched it around basically at their request. Like, we changed around some of the wording, of course still not taking anything from players or anything like that, but we changed around like the wording that may have been a bit of a pressure point for them. And then we got slapped again because we changed the contracts at their request, basically. We did what they asked us to do with making these changes, and then that was a problem that they rejected us for. Like, we were damned if we did, damned if we didn't. It seemed like the U.S. immigration agent that was handling our case here really wanted any reason at all to fuck us. We got in trouble for doing what we were basically asked to do, and then got punished for it. Again, it doesn't make sense. And when talking with all of the other big orgs that have gone through a similar process, I won't name any names here because, again, I don't know like how specific I'm even allowed to get with talking about this situation, but all of the other orgs had similar experiences, or at least knew of other orgs that had similar experiences, and it's just like a commonly accepted thing in this space that the US immigration is a fucking nightmare for it, and that they are needlessly nitpicky to the point where they will actually just ruin like an entire process for this. Apparently in Dota 2 this happens pretty frequently. It's craziness that it's still in this state. It's 2024. How can we not have people in these positions that understand professional video games? It's a massive fucking multi-billion-dollar industry. Esports has so much in it. How can the people that are still in charge of this process not know anything about it and do garbage like this? It's so frustrating. But anyway, the Apex team is now in Canada. We are still ready for the split. We are still competing in A here. And I'm very optimistic. Our team's already popping off. So it's still, we're still very happy, but it would have been a lot better if they were here in Tampa because we like having them around. They're friends. We play basketball together. We hang out. Like, it's fun when they're here. So it would have been great to have them in the actual United States. But that's off the table for now, and I just wanted to rant about that a little bit because it is disgusting how archaic this process seems to be. But anyway, I won't rant about it any longer because it may actually be extremely detrimental to do so, because then I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty, and that's probably not a good idea when it comes to the U.S. immigration process. So yeah, wanted to talk about that a little bit. Eventually, hopefully, our Apex team will all be here in America playing together at the Moist HQ, the House of Hydration. But for now, they're going to be playing out of Canada, and yeah, really excited for the season. Of course, I will be watch partying the games, and that's about it. See ya.